What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Tonight, we are talking Death Notes, episode 16 to 37. No, I'm just kidding. We are talking episode 16 to 20. I figured I messed it up last week, so I'm just going to mess it up even worse tonight to make it look like I did it on purpose. But
yeah, but now you can't make it any worse. You blew it.
I could make up new episodes. We're talking Death Note Season 5, and we have a trailer. But
I watched the trailer on We've Got This Covered, so it's real.
Yeah, okay.
You know it's legitimate.
I mean, they do always have the new and up-and-coming trailers, so...
But before we get into all of that fun, Dave, comma Doug, how's it going, gentlemen?
Well, Keith, I am fan-freaking-tastic. Actually, that's just a catchphrase. I had a really bad week, okay? And I'm just ended up right here talking about this show, because this show was the highlight, the show we're doing right now, and the show that we're watching has been the highlight of my week. Because I can't turn it off. And what I do to stop myself from moving any further ahead than we're supposed to, is I just rewatch them. So we watched 16 through 20. I watched 16 through 20 twice. Every time I had it open, a couple hours or even 20 minutes, just watched it. So I'm not going to get into the crappy part of my life. We're going to focus on the positive. And so, Doug, how are you doing?
Well, Dave, let me tell you, I am outstanding. And yeah, I gotta admit, this is probably the highlight as well. I love rewatching Death Note. It's a great series, and I think what's even more fun though, really, and we were talking about this, with Sierra in our last live stream. It's, I think, more the fact that I love that you two are new to it, and so I get to watch you, see it for the first time and react to like the crazy stuff that's happening, and the back and forth, the cat and mouse between Light and L, and the utter uselessness of the rest of the detectives. Like, what do they even do? What do they? Why are they there? What purpose do they really serve? Like,
that's Stewie, and he's a great manager.
But I'm enjoying it. I love rewatching it, actually, because like there are a couple of little plot elements that maybe I've forgotten, or just like contrivances and little things here and there that I'm just like, oh, this is so goofy, but I love it. But I can't wait to start actually diving deep into the episode. So, Keith, sir, how are you?
I am tremendous, gentlemen. It's always good to be here talking to you fine gentlemen, especially when we got something as fun as Death Note to talk about. So, without further ado, let's talk episodes 16 through 20, which we have Decision, Execution, Ally, Matsuda, and Makeshift.
Now, I just want to do the Not Your Status Quo, normalcy, just right up front. I want to jump right to the very end, just to say, how did you like the fact that we ended on such a cliffhanger?
As always, I do. I was going to watch this Thursday night, the episode 16, after we stopped streaming, and I'm glad we didn't, because I would have ended up watching 3 or 4 episodes. Because, it starts off and Light telling L that he thinks he's subconsciously Kira. I'm like, that is not what I expected at all. What is going on now?
Yeah.
And all of that going around like, L, is he saying this because he wants to... He's admitting he's Kira, but he's trying to get out of it.
Was this your inner monologue? Were you like staring at your children this entire time, like, what's wrong with Dad?
Dad, can we take the car to the store? Are they asking me to go to the store because they want me to take them? Or do they really want to go themselves? How will I ever traverse?
How will the real Kira answer this question?
If I take them to the store, then they're going to want candy. And they know that I told them no more candy today.
Are they going to think I don't want to be with them? and want to stay home if I don't take them? Or
Hey, Keith,
will
are
they
you
take-
still here? Yeah, it's like, yeah, thought just left my head. Hang on, let me click on something here.
Well, it was cool too because all of a sudden Light has a plan. Well, I know Doug knows because he's seen
Oh.
the whole thing. But Light has a plan, and hearing him say, "Hey, Ryuk, when I say let it go, in any context, I am relinquishing the Death Note to you." And I'm like, okay, he's got a plan in place. And at the time, I didn't know that Rem was going to give the Death Note to some businessman or whatever. But it really is entertaining watching this stuff when you're like, it's not predictable for the most part. You have your ideas, you're like, okay, this is going to happen. And then something completely out of left field comes. And not only does something completely out of left field come, but they write it well. Everything after that, once it all plays out, you're like, okay, I like that. Okay, now where's it going? And it jumps in another direction. And we just see craziness abound wherever we go. Like seeing his dad take up the jail cell while he was in there because he's like, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's very Japanese. I don't think I would be able to control myself if I, and I'm like, oh, that's not what I would do, but okay. you go, Mr.
Well,
Yagami.
I'd say if you want to, call like a move that he made Japanese, I'd say the next episode, as I've been referring to it, in hints to you guys, the daddy son car ride. I'd say that is probably the most Japanese move you could have made. I mean, yes, obviously, let's go ahead and off ourselves because we've had to remove our child from existence. I can't live with the shame. It's like, the very samurai.
I didn't know.
And that is the car ride they were referring to.
As soon as they were in the car together, I paused it and I'm like, okay, this is what they're talking about.
This is it.
This is what Mike and Kenny have been talking about, and it did not disappoint. And
No.
of course, he puts the gun to his head, and then he's like, then they give us, it's like the halfway episode, so we're going to give you some Death Note things. I'm like, I didn't really need that right now. Thank you for the information, but come on.
Yeah, I gotta pause. I want to pause real quick and talk about that because this is not anything that I ever really thought about until we started, rewatching these, or well, I started rewatching them and everything. But it's nothing that I ever thought about before. But there are so many convoluted rules that exist for how the Death Note works, and it kind of makes you wonder. The Shinigami, they don't seem to know where the Death Notes originated from. They don't know really where they came from. All they know is that, they exist, they have a Death Note, and if they ever lose one, they have to request one from the Shinigami King, and that if they write somebody's name in it, that person dies, and then they get the years from those humans that they kill. Like, that's pretty much all they know. Ryuk seems to have figured out a little bit more. Like, if, a human touches it, they gain possession, a few other things. And then Light has figured out even more. And it's whoever in the realm of death or whatever invented or created the Death Note. What do you think was, like, going through their head? Like, oh, well, I got to think of what's going to happen to this thing if somebody were to drop it or bury it in a hole. Well, I better write this down. let me program this into the rules of the Death Note.
How many days after they have lost possession?
Yeah, no, I
Does
was
it
actually
no longer? I'm like,
20 or some random. It's like, what?
Yeah.
if a thief
They are
steals
very
the Death
detailed.
Note from the owner, and then the owner dies, the thief comes. I'm like, wait, is this going to happen later in the show? Why are we getting these odd rules right now?
Subsection 1A.32
Right.
feet. I mean, wow, they really thought this out, man.
The original Shinigami was a lawyer.
Yeah.
If the person who possesses the Death Note ingests more than 3 grams of pumpkin spice in any month, they
Oh, crap.
Their name
Oh,
automatically
no.
appears in said Death Note. Without anyone having written it.
death by
Death by
pumpkin spice.
spice.
The worst way to die.
Right.
But even, little things like, it seems like for most of this series, L has kind of been one step ahead of Light. And this move really put L on his back. Like, he was like, when he finally said to Ryuk, let it go. And then all of a sudden, like, Light is acting like a completely different person.
He's kind of like looking like...
And
yeah, it's
L's
like he became... Yeah, and I was thinking... I didn't get sold on that because I'm a member of the audience and I know, what's going on. But if you were L and you saw such a sudden change, would you buy it?
No, and he didn't.
But remember,
that's what I'm saying.
It almost was a little more convincing because it already happened with Misa.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why Light did it. He was like, Misa, when she was no longer the owner of that Death Note, and forgotten all the stuff, she was acting like a completely different person. If a second person, because Light was probably sure that L knew he was Kira and Misa was the second one. So he's like, if we both start behaving the same way, he might conclude, if we both start acting weird after a certain amount of time away, will he conclude that we were possessed by the actual Kira to do these things? And I was like, that is so smart. Why didn't I think of that? Why don't I have a Death Note? It really, it's just a well-written show. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I watch it and I'm just totally enthralled with the stuff going on. And every time, to be continued at the top, I'm like,
it sucks.
Thank God I haven't watched the 5 episodes we're going to talk about the next day so I can watch the next one.
How about this? Thank God you're not watching it when it originally aired. I mean, okay, we say pretty often we don't mind when a show airs week to week because it gives us a little bit of time to talk about it, to kind of like, resonate with it and everything, kind of let it sit in, have our water cooler moment and everything. But with this, I think I would hate it.
I would too.
Yeah, because it's only 20 minutes,
Yeah.
You get 20 minutes a week, that would be rough to deal with this show. Other shows, not so much. But this show, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this show I could easily binge.
Oh, yeah.
But getting back to the whole car ride.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about, you would think, at first I'm like, God, no one would do that. But because of the circumstances involved with Kira and, what they think is supernatural abilities and everything else, they got to go to extremes to kind of root it out. And man, it was like, okay, if you were really Kira or being controlled by him, he would have killed me by now. And I'm like, okay, damn, dudes, this is starting to be a Tarantino freaking film here.
But, and L still doesn't buy it.
No. And you know what? Honestly, if I were L, even if I wasn't, the audience member, if I didn't know that the Death Note exists and everything, I think even if I was L, I'd be like, there's just too many coincidences. There's just too many things that point to Light. Definitely, like, there's forensics that point to Misa. Like, I love how they say, and although she says that they were occult videos, her fingerprints and hair were like literally all over everything. I mean, come on, guys.
And I'm glad they didn't let that go because he did say, they made a point of saying, even though there's physical evidence, we're starting.
Yes.
I was like, thank God they did that because.
And oh my gosh, what's the tall detective with the fro? What's his name again? I can't think of it. But even he was like the voice of reason before. No, right as they right after they arrested Light. I think it was before they put his father in solitary confinement as well. He was like, he's like, no, I mean, L is right. All of the evidence points to Light. There's no two ways around it. I mean, we've looked at it, and it's like every now and again they have these like little detective moments where it's like they're looking at the evidence, they're looking at the way that everything points, and they're like, yeah, actually, you know what? I mean, as a seasoned police detective, this is the direction I would go in as well. And then the very next episode, I don't know, guys, I don't think Light did it.
Well, because there's no physical evidence. It's all like
It's
circumstantial.
speculation. I know.
Yeah, it's you know
It,
it's
it
hard.
is. It is. I like. Yes, it is very circumstantial, and the circumstances are in they're incredibly like big neon signs
But
pointing
I
to.
wouldn't say they're big neon signs. They're small flashing ones. Because little things like, they had no idea that he had a Shinigami. Find
Oh,
every
no, they don't
camera
know.
in the house. And then he was smart enough to buy that little TV, put
You
his
had a
bag
camera?
of chips, and well, you cameraed our house? That ain't right.
Well,
You
that should be proof.
He's right.
Wait, hold on. You weren't watching me like Saturday night around 1 in the morning?
Watching Misa
When
videos.
I was watching salsa and corn videos. Yes.
And then when you see Rem talking to that business dude, I was like, okay, this
Yeah.
is going to get good. I
then-
want to see
Oh no.
where this guy goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if Dave's interwebs are acting funny. And I was like, okay, is this part of, because I still feel like because Misa loves Light and Rem loves Misa, he was like, let's do this and we'll free Misa and we'll do the right things. But you got to follow, you got to listen to me. Part of it is getting this businessman to, follow the plan and make sure that, hey, criminals got to keep dying. Hey, let him do what else he wants with it, But it's got to look like I'm in jail and these criminals are dying. It'll take all the speculation off me possible. And I was like, okay, that's sweet. And then hearing these guys, when Light kind of like, look at all these business guys are dying on like Friday and Saturday or whatever, and they're all competitors to the, what is it, the yoga, what is the company? Yatsuba. The Yatsuba group or whatever. It seems suspicious. Oh, yes, it does. That's weird. And they're so nonchalant about it. Okay, Friday meeting, who should die? Well, there's this
Right.
up-and-comer over at Sony we should take out. Was he in charge of the Morbius movie? He was. Let's not even wait. Let's just write his name right now. But we
We're
don't
not
Wait,
waiting.
are you sure we should make him die of a heart attack? Should we maybe? Oh no! Draw it out. Have him. I don't know. Fall into the bat pit at the zoo.
have him
He's gonna
write
watch Morbius 50 times.
and then write a letter apologizing to all moviegoers for seeing it.
All of a sudden, they're like, well, why did he just die of a heart attack? Well, the Death Note can't do anything that the person wouldn't willingly actually do, and obviously, he thought Morbius was, God's gift to the world.
And he was
Sign-
not gonna jump off the
I'm
edge
not
of the tower.
sorry.
He wasn't gonna do it.
Sign the
No.
rights back to Marvel. The Spider-Man rights back to
Oh,
Marvel.
You know what? I was thinking that is probably one of the most realistic aspects of the show. If one of, the many billionaires in this country happen to get their hands on a Death Note, I guarantee 100% they would be offing their competition as well.
Yep, I didn't doubt it for 1 minute.
No, that was like, you can tell the guy who wrote, because he goes under a pseudonym, he doesn't, use his real name. It's almost like he thinks there's an actual Death Note out there. But yeah, the author of Death Note, it's a fake name. There's no picture of him anywhere. Nobody knows who he actually is.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
That's going right
It
along
is,
with
it
the
is.
story.
But you have to wonder if like he's sitting there thinking like, just in case there's an actual Death Note out there. Also,
Right.
this is exactly how corporations would use it.
And then we find out in the next episode too that they're threatening politicians
Yeah, yeah.
and saying, "Yeah, stop looking for Kira, or you guys are dying too." And Elle's of course like, "This is not what Kira does. This is different, or whatever." And we because it's a new owner who is a CEO of a business, so of course he's acting that way. Because Light, who is much more like Elle, thinks more strategically, and they're just let's just kill. They'll never figure it out that a bunch of our competitors are dying, and it's not one of us. And then
The modern Blackstone Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
what's what is the girl's name? I know I wrote it down somewhere.
The blonde.
Is it Weedy?
Oh, I thought we had a comment.
It's like Weddy. Weddy is her
Yeah,
name.
Weddy. When she's like, yeah, there wasn't really when they're like hacking into their system so they can spy on their
Like,
meetings.
yeah,
And stuff.
their security was garbage.
Wasn't really anything there. Okay, I was like, well, that makes sense. A business.
Yeah.
Hey, our IT's up to security, right? Yeah, sure. Don't worry about it. We're saying we're handled.
Oh, okay, all right. Now, let me just run this past you. Now, on the off chance that hypothetically a huge group of our executives found a way to, we'll say, do away with some of our more inconvenient business competition. And again, hypothetically, the police were onto it, and they hypothetically hired a super spy to hack into our computers. Like, we'd be good, right? I mean, I clock out in 2 minutes, probably.
Yes, I would be like, I accepted an offer with Disneyland of Japan. I'm going to be leaving now to work there. Thank you so much for your. But, oh, what's his name? Matsuda. Oh my God.
Misa!
When he
It's
gets
like
caught.
Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, he was. And I like, he just ran off. What a jerk. Oh, he's working on a deal with the. Oh, thank you. He's so nice. He's such a good manager. But when he gets caught, he's just like, I'm the manager for Misa, and I
Right.
think. Why are you breaking into our building on a Friday night to offer this partnership? Misa?
Why are you having a meeting at like 8 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Japan, and our corporate infrastructure is god awful to the employees, and everybody works probably sometimes close to midnight, or they just don't go home at all. And this is perfectly reasonable. Most families, the father is gone for months at a time, and the wife and children never see him, and this is accepted.
Yep, they're just like the United States with that. Are you working enough? Trust me, I'm working plenty. Thank you so much.
But could you work harder?
We can always get some more out of you.
But I liked Elle's plan too. Okay, this is what we're going to do. You have a party with your friends with Misa and the executives, and then you're going to fake your own death.
Right. Oh, what if that mattress wasn't very firm? Like that was like everything had to work out perfectly. Like if he had been, just over this much more on the railing.
And they had someone down on the ground acting as him and
Right.
drag him off. We got to keep this hush hush. We can't say anything. Oh, okay. Like,
Oh yeah, how do you like how like Misa was just like as if this has happened before? Okay, I think everyone should go home and we'll take care of it, but don't forget, remember me for your commercial. It's like a dude just died.
Your manager just died. There'll be others.
Yep, this is the fourth.
But he finally used his belt buckle too. I was so happy.
Right.
I was like, yay, something we saw like 10 episodes ago, I think, finally came into play.
Right. Wondering if it's ever gonna get what if like one of the guards had like just seen him furiously pressing the button and like, dude, what are you doing, man? Huh?
Well, now he can never leave the building. He's going to have to stay in the building forever.
And I have to say, I didn't think I would ever say this talking about this show. But for how crunched up Elle always is, he's got some good kicks.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Some MMA stuff right there.
Even though, he shouldn't be up kicking a downed opponent like he was doing. Come on, Elle. That is not right.
I mean, and they just drop it as soon as the contact is made. They both slam each other, and then they both are talking in the same tone 2 seconds later.
Again, perfectly normal. This
Yeah.
happens all the time.
It's just something we do over here.
Right.
Well, I love too that Misa like calls him a pervert because he's so matter of fact. Well, I'll just watch you from the cameras then. It's you. What are you, a pervert?
Let's talk about that real quick. I forgot to bring that up. What is her stalker experience exactly? That, like, I mean, the fact that they had her on, like a rack, belted, blindfolded, a friggin', suit holding everything. She was talking so calm.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Stalker, I think you should let me go now. What? Who hurt this girl?
Well, she did say none of my other stalkers have ever taken it this far.
Yeah.
So she's been through some stuff.
What is Japan's laws? How is this happening?
I like too when she accuses Light's dad of being the stalker, and then when she finds out who he is, he didn't just point a gun at my boyfriend's head and almost kill him, but oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. I didn't mean it. I'm like, wow, this.
Didn't mean to call you stalker.
Like, get in the car.
We think you're driving to your death, and this is how you're acting. We're getting to see full force how you react to that.
But
I meant to bring up something in our last live stream, and I was wondering if the two of you had kind of caught on to this aspect of the Death Note rules. So we know that when Shinigami writes a human's name, their life is added to, the remainder of the human's life is added to that Shinigami. So we know that much. We also know, because Rem explained this, that when Jealous wrote the murderer's name in the Death Note to save Misa, that the reverse happened. That Misa actually got all of Jealous's remaining life, however long it might have been. Like, we don't know how many people Jealous has killed. We don't know how much more life he had left in him. But it's safe to say that Misa probably had a good couple hundred years, because Rem even says you'll live, abnormally longer than, any human.
And she didn't give half off of that because of the eyes.
Well, she gave up half of that because of the eyes, but half of 400 years or whatever, still,
Did she lose that when she let go of the Death Note?
No, she gets to keep that lifespan, but she loses the eyes.
Yeah, I knew she lost the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That would be tough when you don't remember being, having it before.
Right.
All of a sudden, why is everyone's name and date above people's heads? What's going on?
Yeah.
And she's going to have unnatural long life and not know why.
Yeah. But, I mean, do you think it would bother her?
No.
Depends on how many friends she had, really, I guess.
Mm.
But one of the other things these episodes have shown us, too, is that how much the Death Note corrupts who has it. Because we're seeing Light, you see subtle little things, like Light does not take advantage of Misa. Like in a physical
when he's not, I guess, I don't want to use possessed by the Death Note. I don't know another term for it, but essentially when he's not the Death Note holder, when he doesn't have any memories, he's, as Al puts it, he's a totally different person.
Yeah, and he's, stands up for people, and he thinks, I can't do that. That would be wrong to take advantage of her like that or put her in harm's way or this. And you see, he's actually, seeing what kind of Kenny and Mike were talking about before we got this far, if we think he's evil or not. It almost seems like, okay, we're now learning that Light is a completely different person while he's not in possession of it. And we're seeing this, corporate person starting to really become just kind of a monster too, because he's just murdering people left and right for his own corporate gain. And you see the one guy from the meeting is like, I need to leave, I can't do this or whatever, and then he's just dead. So it's really, I think it's subtly, it's not throwing it right in your face, but subtly showing you how much this power is corrupting humans. And honestly, the only thing that really kept Light sane was just how analytical he was.
Yeah.
He put all that brain power to how do I not get caught, where he hides it in the drawer and how he's going to write the names and how, certain times of day and certain ways and testing, just testing the boundaries of it. I can't imagine that this corporate guy is doing any of that. He's not finding out anything new he can do with it. I think anything he knows about it, Light told Rem to tell him. Like, he said, Rem, let him know these certain things. Because it can't be, he almost knows it can't be too easy to find out who has this Death Note now. And it's got to almost seem like, I'm not going to say this with certainty anymore, because every time I think I know something about this show, it turns it right on its head. But he's like, it's got to seem like the CEO is Kira, and then all of a sudden he's going to lose possession of the Death Note and not have any understanding of it. So it's going to push the possession theory further with L. And I don't know how Light is planning on getting the Death Note back, but I'm sure he has a plan. And I can't wait to see it all play out.
That's why I brought up how'd you like the fact that we're so close to the police and or I guess our investigation team. They're not police anymore. I like that they're so close and it's to be continued, and well, that's all we get to watch now.
Well, and it's he
But
told Ryuk. He told Ryuk goodbye, right?
He did.
Does that mean when he gets the Death Note back, it'll be the one that's in the corporation's hands right now?
That's what I'm thinking. Well, Doug's the only one who
Yeah.
knows, but I thought the same thing, Dave. I'm like, he is going to get possession of Rem's Death Note. And he'll still be able to see Ryuk because he can still see Rem. Because he's touched the
Well,
Death Note.
Also, remember exactly the order that he gave up the Death Notes. Remember, he had both Ryuk and Rem touch both notes. So he relinquished the Death Note to Rem. Rem relinquished it to Ryuk. This was all done on purpose. That way, all of the Death Notes that were there on Earth would be, if you touched one, you would basically you'd be able to see both Ryuk and Rem. It's essentially the way that he had set it up.
Yeah. If that's the only two Death Notes on Earth. I assume it is, but we don't know any better at this point. And can I tell you my favorite line of all of these episodes?
What was it?
Misa goes, I can't imagine a world without light. And Elle says, it would be dark.
Yes, I remember that. It'd be pretty dark. He's like, hey, don't be talking like that.
Oh, such a dad joke.
I was oh, that's so awesome. That's...
I wonder. I didn't turn the subtitles on, so I wonder if that was the actual translation, because I found out a couple of years ago that a lot of times what'll happen when they're dubbing, this anime, they don't always do a direct translation, because sometimes whatever was said in Japanese may not make sense in English, because it might reference, an old Japanese folktale. So they've got to find a way to, rephrase it in English that it would make sense for English audience. So they're not doing so much translation as they are localization is the word. They have to, put it in English text, but they also have to localize some of the phrasing and the wording to make it make sense to an English audience.
So they made the joke make sense in English.
Exactly, yeah. But I am curious,
thanks for nerding
was
it
it
up
roughly
so much.
the same thing?
Yeah.
The whole, thing too, where they're finally figuring it out, and Elle's like, Light, if anything should happen to me, I want you to continue as Elle.
I love this.
Is he doing this because he knows if I take it, he knows I'm actually Elle? And then he answers, oh, well, he figured out my test. And he's just answering. I'm like, oh, my God. Just fight again, you two. Just come to punches again, because that's what it's going to take.
No, is that the point where Elle actually, gets meta and says, Light, why are you staring at me?
That was a little earlier in that episode, but yeah.
Okay.
He's like, are you thinking about this? Oh, no, I was just...
You've been looking at me for a long time.
Oh,
What?
was
Huh?
it?
What?
Are you in love?
What
Oh, I
was,
think Misa actually said that.
oh
You know,
yeah.
I think, yeah.
What was his other? I loved when they're like, Light or L. They've hired so and so to find out your true identity. That's okay. That's also me.
Right, yeah. That's such a... Of course it is. Somehow, you assumed that at some point someone would want to find and eliminate the real L, so you manufactured two other complete identities that were also just so happened to be known as like the greatest detectives. And I assume you did work as those detectives as well.
Oh yeah. And then the report that was 5 million. How is this worth $5 million?
Right.
But it makes sense. That's how they pay for all this stuff. The awesome new building that they're living in, and working out of, and being able to rent 2 rooms for Misa and the
The
girls,
whole like
and the one
friggin'
underneath the ketchup.
TSA style entrance. Like, God, gotta take off the belt and
And oh my god, I felt so bad for, is it Aizawa? The guy who quit, who had the family.
oh yeah,
And his
that's who
family.
I was saying. The tall guy with the fro.
Yeah. And he's like sitting in the
Aizawa, I
park.
think his name is.
Aizawa, yeah. And it's like he's sitting in the park and, hey, Daddy, are you gonna, just, they gave me some time off.
I will.
I hope he comes back because it does seem. Were you testing me? Because what's his name? Like, didn't you set up funds that if anyone got fired, they'd be. Not now. Was this a test? Were you testing me? God, he tests everybody all the time. He's really not someone I think most people would get along with in real life because everything's a test.
Well, and he's got a new girlfriend, so that that was a way to end that last episode. You know who I'm talking about.
Wait, who's got a new girlfriend? What are you talking about?
L does, because he's going to go on this case alone. He's going to separate the task force, and so Light thought he was going with him, but no, he's going with Misa. Wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute.
That would be too dangerous. We can't have her do that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Is he going to figure them both out? I mean, he already has them figured out, but he's got no proof.
He just has to get some physical evidence that can tie them and prove it.
And he figures if he's with her, she'll slip up a lot faster than Kira will. I couldn't think of his name. Light. She'll slip up a lot faster. And he's right, but she won't because she has no memory of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how when in the beginning of our series of episodes, I like how, Light is saying, like, grumbling to himself, I'm only doing this, Rem, because you brought another Death Note. I feel like Light should actually be, like, counting his blessings, because I think this actually helps him. The fact that he manufactured this plan to, relinquish the Death Notes and everything. I think if he would have kept going down the path that he was, I think he would have been caught sooner, even if there was no Misa. Because he was getting kind of reckless.
But he wasn't leaving.
Well, that's true.
Well, I only say that because
him.
when he killed Ray Pember, and then, he killed Ray Pember's fiance, and then all of the other FBI agents and everything, I think he would have continued to be, this is my assumption, I think he would have been more and more reckless, and I think he would have continued offing people, anybody who got in his way. Even, Elle points out, the real Kira wouldn't hesitate to kill his own father. And I truly believe that.
Yeah, if he was Kira at the time, and his dad, he probably would have found a way to kill him. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, he always carries a piece of Death Note with him just in case. So if he was still
only
in
he
Kira,
remembered.
yeah, if he was still in Kira mode, he would definitely pull it out and said, Dad. You know what I mean? Obviously not Dad, but you know.
How do you spell your name,
And he
Dad?
put it
Why are you asking? No reason.
down.
Writes down, Dad. Why didn't it work?
It was funny because I was
We
watching.
get some milkman guys.
I was watching another show, Presumed Innocent on Apple TV Plus, and like one of the lawyers in the show is having a heart attack during a trial. I'm like, oh my god, the death. Oh no, that's a different.
You're mixing your shows. He's too close. He's too far in, guys.
But
Gotta pull him out.
the plan that Light comes up with too in that last episode to be like, okay, if we call one of them, what are the odds that that is actually Kira? So let's call one and set up that deal. And once again, it makes sense because all these other guys, while they're probably like, this is kind of good for business, they still have to kind of be like, this is really kind of wrong. And, you know, have guilty feelings about it. So you call one and you get the right guy, and it's like, listen, you work for us, you stick what you're doing, you know, we'll make sure nothing happens to you, but we need evidence. You're going to be our guy, and you're going to be cleared of any, you know, wrongdoing, yada, yada. I mean, what a great way to approach it. And, of course, someone who doesn't have the Death Note, who's not corrupted, is probably going to see, you know, this might be his only path out of this. Because we saw what happened to the one guy when he said, you know what, I don't think I want to be a... So what other choice does he have if he wants to get out of this? He probably has to, you know, work with L to try to find out who it is. They really go to great lengths to make sure that kind of every duck is in the row. Every duck is in a row when they're writing this to make sure it makes sense. And, you know, the guy, the CEO guy with the Death Note was not, you know, good about keeping that a secret. I mean, bringing a whole freaking meeting together on Friday night to talk about who they're going to kill. Oh, Kira's working for us now. Who are we going to kill? It's like,
Right.
oh, wait, what?
That's not obvious.
How much are we paying them? Don't worry about it.
Now I wonder, because they don't explain this in the anime. I wonder if this entire idea of who to give the Death Note to and what to tell them, if this was also all Light.
I feel like it is. I feel like his plan was so like convoluted on how he gets it back and everything was laid out, so there's no mistaking. He will get it back at some point, and it was all like part of his plan. I do feel was Light and L busting this company and busting the CEO with the Death Note to get it back. And
I have to agree, because I mean, what other way are you going to try and clear your name other than, you know, proving that A, you have no memory of the Death Note, you never would kill anybody, even if you, or, you know, you don't have any memory of being Kira, you keep constantly admitting, I would never kill like that. But then on top of that, you actually do have somebody that is still writing names in the book, and therefore you have somebody to investigate, somebody to go after. And I think that's, you know, that's real key to kind of help Light in maintaining his innocence or trying to prove his innocence, because A, if names are still being written to the Death Note, or, well, they don't know that much, but if people are still dying, then obviously Kira is still out there. But also, if they're leaving just enough evidence, you know, to go off of, it gives them an actual bad guy, Akira, to go after, to investigate.
And if Light not only is, you know, tied to L or handcuffed to L while all this is still going on, but helps L find Kira, I mean, that goes a long way to proving one's innocence. But even after they bust this guy, I'm sure L's like going to be, I know you're still Kira, dude.
Yeah. At the very least, the rest of the investigation team won't believe that that Light has anything to do with it. And I think that's what's going to hurt L more, is the fact that it's only him. Like, he keeps admitting to Light multiple times. L says, you know, like, I'm a little depressed because, well, why are you depressed? Well, because I basically had all of my eggs into this basket. I know that it's you, and I'm just so sad that people are dying and you're not the one that's killing them. And it's like,
I mean, you have this theory that L ain't gonna make it.
mm,
Is that your prediction?
Yes, I don't think Elle or Light live for this whole series. I think the final episode is probably Light dying, and it's probably Rem writing his name in a book, or Ryuk, I don't know. But I can't imagine watching the show and them living through it.
Kind of like the end of Cowboy Bebop. You know, I mean, I think, after this last turn of events, yeah, you're right. I mean, Elle's going to be the only one who doesn't buy it. They're obviously going to frame this guy, and they're going to have all the proof that they need. So it's like,
but the fact that he's going to stand alone, that's going to hurt his accusations even more.
But
yeah,
he knows it.
it's
He
gonna-
knows it, and that's why he said, "I'm going to start working alone, and you guys do your own thing," because he's
Yeah.
smart enough to know this is what's happening, and he's still going to do it.
because it's going to seem from the outside, it's going to seem personal, and that's why he keeps going after Light when it's not at all. He's just right.
I wonder, like, a what if moment.
Okay.
So, Death Note, what if? What if L had continued to, refuse to work with the police? What if he had, kept going down his path of the entire time working alone, but, just occasionally meeting with them over video, regardless of their complaints? Like, I know that they were bitching and moaning, like, hey, we're putting ourselves in danger and you're never showing. Like, what if he would have said, tough tits? That's just the way that it works. Do you think that they would have arrested Light quicker? Because there would be nobody really, verbally opposing L. Like he could have this big revelation, bring up on the screen, I found the murderer, and it turns out, and then he lays out all of the obviously still circumstantial reasons, but he lays out all of the circumstances. Do you think like a prosecutor would be like, hey, that's good enough for me?
A prosecutor might
No.
think it's good enough for them.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that they want the solid case.
Yeah, but the prosecutor also wants to bring someone to court. Because
True.
A lot of
If they
times
bring
that's
it
the
to court
case.
and they can't convict them because it's circumstantial.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course.
they always say time benefits the prosecution. So they always have more time to. I just, Light is smart enough, or L is smart enough to know. Light is Kira. He's positive of it.
Yeah.
But he can't do anything until he gets any shred of physical evidence. Because everything they got against Light is like fluff circumstantial. It's not like
Yeah.
like the defense could say, listen, we want to bring in all of the tapes of me being taped. How could I be doing these killings? Here's all the killings that were going on at this time. And you see me studying for this entrance exam. They would be able to beat that case so easily. So, L knows enough that, man, I know it's him. There's no doubt about it. I am 100% sure it's him. How do I prove it? And it's almost like I kind of hope they don't do this because that would kind of ruin Light's plan a little bit. Like after Light's plan totally comes through and he gets the Death Note pack, if that is what happens, L's like, okay, he thinks I didn't know. He set up this whole thing, and he's actually, Kira again. But yes, I know, and I hope, he figures it out. Like Light may, like he's done so much. Light makes a mistake when he gets the book back, and L's like, I noticed that Kira is starting to act like the original Kira again. So I think, the guy's back in possession, or the same, Light's possessed again by Kira, or Light is just Kira again. Because it could easily be written off. We know the Death Note can control people. They don't know it's the Death Note. They know Kira can control people before they die. And for all we know, Kira, Light, is just controlling the, what's it called? Because he doesn't have to, for all L knows, he doesn't have to be like writing something down in a book. He could just be thinking about it. And
Right,
having,
because they don't know how he does
Right.
it. They, all they know is that they know the basics. Obviously, Kira needs a name and a face. The second Kira just needs a face. So they know
Yeah.
that much. They don't know how. They just know they put enough pieces together to know that anyone that Kira kills, it's usually a heart attack because he doesn't really move outside of the box. It's like that's his calling card. That's a serial killer move. And so they know that much, and they also know that he doesn't have to be there to do it. So yeah, as far as they're aware, it's some sort of telepathic supernatural power. They don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you can see where L, especially with all the long internal monologues Light does, that he's actually still, in control. He still can't explain why. Yeah, and the CEO. He's using our computer. He's the one who found out that, the Yoshiba group was the one killing his people. He's actually doing it and framing the CEO at this point. And he's possessing him to call these meetings. I know what you're up to, Light. Like, I want to see an episode where Light's like sleeping and L's just like staring at him like, what are you making that CEO do now? I know what's going on. Hey, we got a comment on YouTube. Louise Calvert says, hey, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. We're talking a little Death Note, episodes 16 through 20. Don't know if you've seen it, but we appreciate you joining us. Let us know what you think. It's gotten to the point now where we should end the stream now, only so I can go watch episode 21.
Oh, I know. When I said that, like, it's about to go down, like, it's about to go down. Like, this is where, like, you thought the series was ramping up. Like, it's gonna really ramp up. We're hitting, like, full speed ahead.
Well,
and we're only halfway through. We've got 17 more episodes.
Yeah, and we just dropped a cinder block on the gas pedal.
When they were talking about his ride with his dad, I was thinking something along the lines of, it's like Spider-Man: Homecoming, where good old Spider-Man. I did not expect what happened, and that's what good shows do. I mean, even knowing something that's coming up, you can think about it, and they just go to another level with it, and just blow my mind every time. They do such a good job, and I can't wait to see the Jesus feat that Mike was talking about. I don't think we've seen it yet.
Nope.
And I want to finish all 37 episodes, but I don't want to finish it also.
Because you don't want it to end.
Yeah, it's nice having, like, okay, we're gonna talk about episodes 21 to 24 or 21 to 25 for next Thursday. I can start watching them again. I can't wait to get it all down. I can't wait to see what's going on. And you want to understand the full story, but once you finish it, it's like, okay, well, now it's done.
and then you can't go back and watch it again right away, because if you do, it's not going to have the same feeling. You're not discovering it, but you are noticing things the second time around that you didn't see the first time.
And once you've seen the whole thing, watching it a second time, you'll pick a little, oh, that's actually foreshadowing to, like episode 30 or whatever, where...
I love it when you can do that with a show.
Dave?
Yeah?
You are absolutely right.
All right. And you know what?
I've been, like I said, in rewatching this, I'm picking up a lot of things that I really don't... Either I forgot about, I just never noticed before. Like, just little things here and there that's like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Or just, like... It makes it more fun to... For me, knowing how it all ends up panning out, being able to kind of, like, take my time and pick through every aspect of this. Because I already, like, now I know what leads to this. And it is very fun. It's awesome this is very rewatchable. Very rewatchable, and definitely, as we were talking about in our last stream, it passes the smartphone rule.
Oh yeah.
Every episode I watch, it's passes the smartphone rule.
Yep.
It sits, I'm charging it, and I'm not picking it up and looking at it for
Yeah.
anything.
You know what I wanted to mention is that shows that are good at Gary with the button key, shows that are really good at like foreshadowing. The very opening scene of Smallville, uh, Lionel Luthor is reading a newspaper, and on that newspaper it says "Queen family missing." That is not addressed again until season 6. Very, very clever writing.
We're
Very good.
Smallville fans up in arm every season until season 6. Why did they foreshadow Oliver Queen missing? We're not talking. Where's Oliver Queen? Why is this not happening?
No.
Good. Good.
We were patiently waiting for that to play out, and it did, and it was great.
When I watched it, I thought it was just an Easter egg. I didn't think they were ever going to play that out within the show. I laughed. I'm like, Oliver Queen, that's great. That's a Green Arrow reference. Kudos, Smallville.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have already, you've got my attention.
And then it played out, and what did you think?
I enjoyed it.
You think you like some hello writing right there?
What? Who's the dude who played Green Arrow? Oliver Queen. What's his name? Is it Justin Hartley?
Josh Hartley. Yeah, Hartley. Justin something Hartley.
Something like that. He did a really good job.
Yeah, he was a good Oliver Queen. In fact, when Smallville ended and they said they were going to do an Arrow show, that's who I thought was going to be on the Arrow show.
Huh.
But I guess he's on those shows like Scandal or something now. Or,
Yeah.
So he's taking a step back, which is, it's everybody's choice. You can do that if you want to. But, yeah. Sorry, I had to bring Smallville into it.
Of course.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
A Twitch stream without referencing Smallville and hearing this.
Well, it just wouldn't be us.
It definitely would not. But I think I figured something out.
Oh?
Uh-oh.
Just came to me.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I'm gonna blow your minds that I figured out the end of the show.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
I wrapped it up. I figured it out. Not your status quo always figures it out before the end. Are
Okay.
you ready? L has a death note. And he has been playing Light the whole time. He knows exactly
And
what's
he's
going on.
secretly Kira.
And he has his own Shinigami eyes. And he knows L because he didn't see his life thing on it. Aha! I figured it out! The first person ever to figure it out by episode 20. Thank you. Thank you. I'm here all week. Thank you so much. It's
Way
good
to
to
go, man. 17 episodes ahead of time. That last second reveal is going to be so worthless now. Because
And I know. Sorry I ruined it for you, Dave.
Damn it. Now I can't even keep watching it.
Yeah, we're just done. So this is our last episode of our Death Watch discussion.
We'll be back in 2 weeks.
We'll be moving on to, we'll be going back to Uncle from Another World next Thursday.
No, we're going to stay off the air until I.
Believe it or not, that show does have a fan base.
No, I believe it. Once again, it wasn't for me, but I can see, I'm sure people like it. Everybody likes their own things and all of that. I'm definitely not going to say they should never make that show, but
The type of anime that I've never really been able to get behind, it's too cringy and poorly written. If to me, I'm sure that some, manga writer, anime writer, whatever out there is, they're working tooth and nail. They're, putting their blood, sweat, and tears into putting this stuff together. But have you heard of harem anime?
you've talked about it before, yeah.
That was interesting.
It's essentially the entire plot is there's a dude, sometimes there's a chick, but very rarely because Japan. It's usually a dude, and through wacky circumstances, he just happens to be the most popular boy in the whole school or college or job, and all the girls just love him. And now he's got like 4 or 5 or 6 or 12 girls that are all trying to get with him. And sometimes they have to or something. It's so bad and garbage, and they keep making them, and there's so many of them out there.
And there's
It's
people that like that
why?
type of show too. You
Yeah,
know?
I know.
Like,
There's got to be plenty of people keep clamoring for him
The
because, like,
Bachelor's
why
been
else
on
would they
for
keep
like
making
30
them?
seasons.
There you
Yeah.
go. It's essentially Bachelor but anime.
Yeah, it's like 90 Day Fiance.
Ugh.
There's like 100 different 90 Day Fiance shows. I
Oh,
don't.
that
Yeah.
no, didn't they do the 90 Days Other Way or something?
Oh yeah,
Where,
yep.
yeah.
My wife watches all of them. I go upstairs and I'm like, okay, hey, I'll see you later.
But
I
you
was
don't
amazed.
understand.
I don't know if it's on Tubi or which streaming service, but there was like 7 or 8 different 90 Day Fiance shows, like not just like 7 or 8 different series of the show,
Oh yeah, there's
like in
like
a certain location or something. And I'm
90
just
Day
like,
Fiance, 90 Day
they have
Fiance the other way, 90 Day Fiance
Yeah.
Happily Ever After.
Oh,
they have an audience.
There's
These
a
shows
whole,
have an audience, or else
there's
they
a
wouldn't be out.
whole cinematic universe of 90 Day Fiance.
you know what that reminds me of?
Multiple
When
seasons.
MTV was going overboard with their Teen Moms.
Oh yeah.
They've made a whole bunch of, like the Teen Mom cinematic universe. They've got Teen Mom, Teen Mom 2, the Teen Moms are back, Teen Mom Twins, Teen Mom New Marriage, and so.
Yeah, they
My
will
wife
milk
watched all of those too.
everything out of them.
Oh boy. And I
That's
think they're
also-
trying to do that with Jersey Shore too.
Oh, they probably are.
If I heard that's coming back.
But you guys want to hear a funny story about 90 Day Fiance?
What?
There is a guy from Canton, Michigan, who's on 90 Day Fiance.
Oh?
I don't remember his name, but his wife is like from Columbia or something. And my nephew at the time was working at Farmer Jack. And 90 Day Fiance came into film. And they were like, do you want to be on 90 Day Fiance? He says, absolutely not.
He says, what not?
You heard me.
Right.
I've never been more proud of my nephew than at that point. That was awesome.
I've got a kind of a similar funny story. So,
Picture time.
my sister's fiance, they're about to get married in about a week and a half. My sister's fiance, he was telling us that his boss at, I won't name the company that he works for, but his boss was on a show called MILF Manor. This is a real show. I looked it up because I thought he was messing with me.
My wife has watched it, just so you know.
Oh my God.
Oh, jeez.
And I guess she didn't, I don't know if she had to like sign an NDA or whatever. She didn't tell anybody why she was taking time off work. But I guess she wasn't on the show for very long because she was only on vacation for like 2 weeks and then came back to work. You are not the MILF I'm looking for.
Yeah, she was
Good
voted
day.
off silent. Huh?
Oh no, MILF Manor. It's basically like a guy goes there with his son, and then there's like women that are the dad's age, and the women like hook up with the dads or the sons or both. It's
Oh,
it
wow.
is not my cup of tea, to say the least. But
Wow.
my wife would watch it, and she wasn't into it like the 90 Day Fiance stuff. Like my wife can talk to other women about, did you see what happened on 90 Day Fiance? Oh my gosh, this is. But she was like, this is just kind of gross, because there was like
Yeah.
50-year-old women hooking up with 20-year-old guys, and she was like,
Well,
yeah,
cougars.
no.
They should have just called it Cougar Central.
But it was also
That was probably one of the names they pitched.
sometimes it was a mom and a daughter. A bunch of mom and daughters would be in the house, and then like older guys would kind of come in, and it's
That was my show. I was on that show. I always chose the mom.
Good. I thought, I was the host of a reality show for a while. I don't know if you guys ever saw it. It was called America's Filthiest Whore.
Well, you're gonna go Steve
Who did you choose?
And my tagline was, "I'll be the judge of that."
Were you gonna write a name in your death note there, Doug?
Maybe.
Somehow I didn't need the moral code of the station.
Yeah, now I'm a little worried that if we become hugely successful, Dave and I are going to just drop off. It's all for Doug.
Doug would be like, I can split it 3 ways, or...
They don't really need this money as much as I do.
Right after they make me the beneficiaries of their wills.
Shame on you, Doug. I can't believe you would do that to David.
Yeah, what the hell?
Well, actually, we
They
should have seen
caught
it
on
coming.
to me. They think that I'm Kira. All because they saw me with a notebook. But what they don't know is that I have a second notebook.
Wait, did I just say that out loud?
No, but you were thinking very intently. Are you?
Oh,
is
okay,
everything okay? Looked like you had an inner
Now tell me
monologue going
something.
on.
If you are a Skrull, like I am, and I look like Dave, and I have Dave's name, will I die if you write in your death note?
Only if I used your scroll name. Davi.
Davi. D-A-V-I.
Interesting. Whose face would you have to see? The face the scroll is posing as, or his?
Oh,
actual
definitely the
Skrull
original
face?
scroll face.
Oh, well then I'm safe.
Yeah.
I will never reveal my true Skrull face.
Well, that's good.
Actually, I am now.
I think that, out of the 100 different, in between episode, how the Death Note works, little segments that they put up there. I think one of them actually says you have to picture the actual person. This is this is a rule on purpose so you don't kill the wrong person.
Yep.
That happens to have the same name.
Yeah, that makes
Do
sense.
that. Like Stephen Miller, perhaps. You wouldn't want to kill the rock singer.
Right.
Right? But, well,
He
you
can
don't
do that
want
himself.
Right. He can drink all he wants.
Right.
Life is just a fantasy. Can you live this fantasy? Oh, that was Aldo Nova.
That's
Why did I think that was
We're talking like
Steve Miller? Yeah.
Fly Like an Eagle.
Oh, I'm thinking Abracadabra. How I got
Abracadabra.
fantasy and Abracadabra mixed up, I don't know. Wow.
Don't know.
Here's the senility. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Wait, where am I?
Well, gentlemen, should we rate these episodes?
I think we should.
We should, yes, we should. Definitely should.
Dave, would you like
it's-
to start?
Oh, sure, why not? We'll keep with tradition. These have been nutty episodes. And when he was acting like, and it wasn't an act for him, that's the thing. Because I'm the audience, I know what's going on. And when he was suddenly, without the knowledge of having the death note, I was right with L. Like, I don't buy it. I don't buy it because if I was in L's position, I don't think I would buy it either. It would seem like too sudden a change, And if you don't believe in like possession and all that, I don't think I'd buy it. But I love their little fights, like the punch fights that they're getting into now. And then they're just totally calm 2 seconds later and still working together. 1 second. And well, for these reasons, sorry, I'm gonna give this last 5 episodes another 8.5 like I did last time. Cause it's just getting better. All right, Doug, you go ahead. I gotta find out what's going on here.
Well, once again, as we've said multiple times, I've seen all of these before, so it is enjoyable getting a chance to rewatch them and sort of be able to see these all over again, because the very first time that I saw these episodes were probably over 10 years ago, quite a while ago. So this has been enjoyable getting a chance to rewatch it again. And I think one of the things that I have been appreciating even more this time around is the music. It's subtle a lot of the times, but I love how like it'll be the same song, but they switch it up. They'll play like three notes from it, pause to let something kind of happen, and then the same three notes again. And it's always usually used to build up tension or show these kind of cool scenes that are about to happen, or sort of really let you sit on something that was just said. Also, as we said, I know we're joking a lot about it, but I do like the whole inner monologue moments, even if it is kind of goofy. I still kind of like it, but it's a great show, and I'm so glad you guys finally got to see one of my favorite scenes, with the weird car ride that was pretty messed up. But
Intense.
yeah, it is ramping up. It is definitely going into full gear, and it is only about to get crazier. And so yeah, I've got to go ahead and give this an 8.5 out of 10 on the Doug scale. It's great, and it's about to get even better.
Yeah, it just keeps build. Said this every stream we've had. It just keeps building on it, and little things like when, and I'm with you, Doug. I make fun of the inner monologue just because I think it's funny that they're sitting there thinking for 5 minutes while they're in a conversation. But I do enjoy it. You learn a lot. It's a show where we know both sides of what's going on. We know what the investigators are doing. We know what Light is doing as Kira for the most part. But they always have little things that they start doing which we don't fully understand until later. And as it's being revealed, it's always very interesting. And Dave was saying he doesn't believe, he knows that, what's going on. He didn't believe it, whatnot. But it was all part of Light's plan. He's like, okay, if I can make, with how Misa reacted, all of a sudden, when she was a totally different person, didn't understand what was going on, and they couldn't get anything out of her. Elle's like, I almost believe her, what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, Light acted the exact same way after a certain amount of time. But, he's trying, Light is being, okay, how do I convince them that he knows it's me? I'm never going to get that off him. But if I can convince him that I was, being possessed, and it's that back and forth with these guys constantly that never stops. And that's what I like most about this show. They're constantly trying to one-up each other. And, as great as Light's plans are, Elle always kind of figures them out and understands what's going on. And that's what, makes the show so great. And then you have that scene in the car, which I did not expect it to be that intense. I mean, I knew it was going to be good, but I was like, my God, that is unbelievable. But it makes sense. We talked about it earlier. It's all about, this is such a supernatural case. You have to take extreme measures to try to find things out. And it makes sense that they had to quit the police force because they're going to have to go outside of regular police work to eventually find this all out. I never look at my phone once. We talk about it all the time. I do not pick up my phone once while I'm watching these shows. And it just goes through everything. We see, how they're going now with corporation kind of running and where they're going and how they figured it out. And while I'm watching, I'm like, okay, what is this Light's plan? Is it going according to plan? Is things going to work out for him in the end? Is Light going to figure it out?
He doesn't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He'll figure it all out at some point. But I'm enthralled with this show. I can't stop watching it, and I really cannot. I'm no joke. I'm looking forward to the stream being over tonight, only because then I can watch another episode, and then I'll get done with the episodes we're talking about on Thursday and be sad again for a few days. But that's okay. That's certainly not our listeners' problem. But because of that, I think I gave the last episode an 8.8, 888
Yes.
repeating. I'm going to give this an 8.91111 because it's getting better. I can't give it the same rating that I gave the last 5 because these are getting better each time. And we have 17 episodes left. And if it continues down that path, I can't imagine where it's going to be when Elle reveals he has a death note to Shinigami.
We know that's going to happen because we're never wrong.
Now, what?
Hold on one second.
Sure.
No.
I was going to ask him, and I'll see what you say as well. But I'm curious. What do you think? If Keith's theory happens to be correct, what silly name do you think they gave L's Shinigami? Just because it seems like when this was written, I assume the writer, whoever he or she is, they don't have a very good grasp on names outside of Japanese names. Like that's how we get Letty and some of these other weird Watori and like all these other weird names. It's like okay, so I get that how Japanese names work. You clearly are unable to figure out like anything outside of that. So since we already got we got a Ryuk, we got a Rem, and we got a Jealous, what do you think is going to be the name of L's Shinigami?
Watanabe.
See, Dave got it. Not your status quo. We always figure it out. Never wrong. Always get to the bottom of it.
I figured it'd be something silly like soy.
Soy milk. Soy
Sauce.
duck sauce. Soy sauce. No, we're not. Sorry. I'm sorry for doing that. I don't want to be like that.
Oh, we just got canceled.
Unbelievable.
I saw Eddie Murphy do it once. So I'm sorry. That was 40 years ago.
Well, now you just dated yourself.
Yeah. Yep. Well, somebody's got to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. So,
Well, we've all rated it. There it is. We have anybody in the chat, and even if you're not watching live, you can go ahead and put it in the comments. Tell us what you think. Give us a rating.
Yeah, if you are watching this on YouTube or Twitch later, leave us a comment, let us know. Subscribe, like the video if you're on YouTube, do all that fun stuff. But we will be back Thursday night talking all about episodes 21 through maybe 25. We had originally said 24, but we'll talk about what we should do after this. Doug will point us in the right direction, since I think I originally thought that part 1 was only 25 episodes. I think it's 27 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll talk. We don't need to talk about that on the stream. But once again, thanks everybody for coming out. We'll be back Thursday night talking more Death Note. If there's anything else that comes up, we'll talk about that too. But thanks so much for tuning in. We certainly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys all Thursday night. Oh, we got to raid somebody. I almost forgot.
I was about to ask if you were going to pick.
Well, the YouTube crowd, we're done.
Yeah, we're about to raid somebody on Twitch. That's where we send our viewers to someone else. You guys don't need to know that. But, if you are... Oh, it looks like Bubble is playing Star Wars Outlaws.
All right, I'm good with that.
Outlaws, you say?
Yes. Fun little game, which I have not started my game yet because it's been so busy around here.
Because they don't have any clips on it? Is that why?
Yes.
You don't have anything you can fall from?
That's right. And we are about ready to raid them. So once again, thanks everybody for coming out tonight. Leave the comments. We'll talk to y'all Thursday night.
Hey fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.